And joining us to follow up on this and much, much more is my friend, the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, host of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show and founder and president of Bond. Reverend, it is so good to see you again. And you know, we just heard that story from Joe. How do you believe the media has misrepresented the whole issue, including what the president has done in taking critical race theory out of the federal government and banning it federal contractors? How do you feel about the misrepresentation, calling it racial sensitivity training, which it's not?
Well, I have to tell you, it's an honor to be on with you and an honor to see you again. I'm fortunate to see you, so thank you. I do want to say that I am happy. I am happy that the president is ending this so-called critical race theory or thinking, because the only thing that it has done is to divide the country. It has not brought us together. It's taken away the freedom of speech from white Americans, and it absolutely brainwashed black folks to believe, and not all, but most, to believe that they're suffering due to this phony idea of racism. There's no such thing as racism, systemic racism, police brutality, all the stuff that they're talking about. They're using black Americans in order to gain power and wealth. They're using white people by keeping them in fear, because in America today, if white people disagree with black folks, they are deemed to be a racist. And when they're called racist, they lose their reputation, they lose their way of earning a living, they lose their families in many cases. So this is very destructive. And I've said over and over and over and over again, and I'm the guy that grew up on a plantation. I was born and raised on a plantation in Alabama. I grew up under the Jim Crow law. And I've said again and again and again that black people, those who are suffering due to the lack of father and mother in the home, or due to the lack of love. They only have hatred. They don't believe in God. They're suffering due to the lack of morality, and it has nothing to do with color. So I'm glad that the president is taking strong action against this so-called critical race thinking.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm glad he did too. Now, recently, Reverend, another highly criticized, racially charged published work, the 1619 Project, it came under scrutiny from New York Times columnist Bret Stephens. He called it failed. And when he did that, the employees union at the New York Times went nuts. They condemned Stephens in a now deleted tweet. They later apologized. But what do you make of this uprising by employees at newspapers like the Times who don't agree with what's been written by a fellow employee? We've seen it elsewhere as well. It's crazy.
You know, one of the things that has happened, Steve, is that over the years, as I said, white people have been falsely accused of being racist or against black people. And so over the years, they've allowed the radical blacks to take over the educational system, along with the radical white liberals to take over the educational system. They're taking over different jobs and companies and businesses around the country. They are now becoming mayors and city councilmen and men and women, and they are taking over the government, and they're bringing in these hateful ideas, these communist ideas, and their whole agenda is to destroy America, to tear it down and rebuild it in their image, and that is a socialist communist image. And that's what you see happening. Anyone who stand up for the truth, who love the country and appreciate what's really the country is about, they go against them. They knock them down and make them to be racist, so-called racist. They say that they hate black people. And we got to stop this by standing up and speaking against it. Because if we don't, Steve, we're going to have South Africa in America. As a matter of fact, it's already happening. It's here already. By giving into this idea that racism exists, white people have fear. Now we have given them affirmative action. We have told them that the blacks that you don't have to work hard. You can just be black and get into the universities around the country. You don't have to earn your way. You just have to be black to get an amazing job. So they've done that. And now they have allowed these people to take over the government, and we have this fat black radical lesbian called Black Lives Matter committing terrorism upon our country, mob justice, and they'll get it away with that. And now they want they want to dismantle the police departments around the country, so there's no way to protect yourself.
I'm glad you brought that up, because something that was definitely underreported by the media, former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, he's once again revealed who he really is. He's called for the abolition of police and prisons. Didn't get much coverage. I wonder why, Reverend.
Because they want to take over. They don't want you to protect yourself. And the good folks in the communities are suffering, especially in the black community. Black on black crime is out of control. But the whole thing is to intimidate white Americans in order for them to get what they want. And so, like in South Africa, they want your land next. They are taking the land away from white people in South Africa because the blacks are ruling, and they are taking their land without compensation. And that's what's happening in America. It's coming to America because now they're going into the white communities and saying, hey, give us back this property. We own this. We used to own it. We want it back. And because there's no police protection, they want to take away your Second Amendment. They don't want you to protect yourself because they want to destroy America.
Very scary situation indeed.